All right, ready for a deep dive. Today we're tackling something that might sound a little dry at first glance, FDA regulations.
Oh, yeah. Those
But don't worry, this isn't just about red tape and paperwork.
definitely not.
This is about the stuff that really matters. How the medications we all rely on are made safe and effective.
Exactly. And consistently so, no matter where they're produced.
We're talking 21 CFR Part 211, specifically Subpart F.
The nitty-gritty of production and process controls in pharma manufacturing the Bible, basically.
But trust me, it's way more interesting than it sounds.
It's fascinating how often we just, take this intricate system for granted.
Totally.
We pick up a prescription expecting it to work, but behind the scenes, it's a whole orchestrated dance of procedures and controls, making sure every single pill, every capsule is up to par.
Like a magic trick.
Yeah.
Right. You see the end result, but the real magic is happening behind the curtain.
Precisely.
And that's what we're here to uncover today. We've got our stack of sources, right? Excerpts from the FDA guidelines themselves, some industry handbooks that break things down, and even some insights from experts on, YouTube to spice things up a bit.
It's a good mix.
Yeah.
So the mission of this deep dive, it's to equip you with a solid understanding of why this Subpart F is so crucial.
It's like the unsung hero of the pharma world.
I like that, the unsung hero.
Okay, so let's set the stage first.
Okay.
One of our sources points out this crazy stat. Almost 40% of finished drugs, and get this, 80% of active pharmaceutical ingredient manufacturing, that's the API, the actual medicinal part, happens outside the U.S.
It's mind-boggling when you think about it.
It is. So we're talking a truly globalized industry here.
Huge, yeah. And it's completely reshaped the FDA's role. They've had to evolve from mainly overseeing domestic production to navigating this super complex global regulatory landscape.
That's a whole different ballgame.
Big time.
So how on earth do you ensure quality when you're dealing with manufacturing facilities all over the map?
Well, that's where our friend Subpart F steps in.
Okay.
It's like this blueprint, this detailed roadmap laying out the framework for production controls, and it applies to every drug manufacturer, no matter where they're located.
So it's like the universal language of quality in pharma.
Exactly. Consistency and minimizing risk. That's the name of the game.
And it's pretty comprehensive, right?
Yep.
I mean, we're talking everything from personnel hygiene
Even how to wash your hands properly.
to equipment sanitation, environmental controls, handling of materials, the whole 9 yards.
Every little detail.
Speaking of hand washing, it's funny. I was looking through the guidelines,
Yeah.
and they're so specific, like down to the type of jewelry you can wear in production areas.
It might seem excessive, but when you think about it, it all comes down to minimizing contamination.
Makes sense.
We're talking about potent substances here, designed to have a powerful effect on the body.
Right.
Even a tiny speck of something foreign can have huge consequences.
There's no room for error.
Absolutely not. Everything documented, no ambiguity whatsoever.
And it's not just about having the procedures written down. Subpart F is big on this concept of process validation, right?
Huge.
You're talking about proving that these meticulously documented steps actually do what they're supposed to.
Exactly. Imagine building a car. You wouldn't just assume all the parts fit together and it'll start right up. You test it rigorously.
Yeah.
Well, process validation is like that for pharmaceuticals. Proving the whole process, start to finish, consistently produces what it's supposed to.
And there are these different levels of validation too, right? The source material mentioned, DQ, IQ, OQ, PQ.
Alphabet soup, I know.
It is. So what's the deal with all those letters?
It's not as complicated as it sounds, honestly. Each letter represents a specific stage of the validation process.
Okay.
They build on each other, starting with design qualification, making sure the equipment's designed right, and then it goes all the way to performance qualification, proving that when you follow the procedures, you consistently get a high-quality product.
Like checkpoints along the way, making sure everything's on track.
Exactly.
So DQ is like approving the blueprint for the car. IQ is making sure the parts are assembled right. OQ checks if the engine starts and the car moves. And PQ is confirming that the car drives smoothly and safely under all sorts of conditions.
A perfect analogy.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
And one of the sources had this really interesting example about validating a high-performance liquid chromatography machine, an HPLC.
Oh, yeah, those are essential.
Yeah, it's used to test the purity and potency of medications.
The quality control gatekeepers, those machines, and the validation process is all about making sure they're functioning perfectly, giving accurate results.
Because if the results are off,
You could have a batch of medication that's no good, and no one would know until it's too late.
So it's all about protecting patients in the end.
Absolutely, at every step.
And that brings us to another big piece of Subpart F deviation.
Ah, yes. Deviation.
Those moments when, well, things don't go exactly according to plan.
Inevitable in any complex process, but how you handle them is critical. Subpart F requires a robust system for identifying, investigating, documenting every single deviation.
So it's not just about fixing the problem in the moment. It's about understanding why it happened and making sure it doesn't happen again.
Exactly, and that usually involves a thorough risk assessment.
Evaluating the potential impact of the deviation on the final product, right?
Right, on the quality, the safety, the whole shebang.
Our sources mentioned some pretty relatable examples of these deviations.
Like what?
Things like out-of-specification test results, temperature fluctuations during storage, even accidentally skipping a procedural step.
It happens.
It does, but it's a good reminder that these systems are in place for a reason.
Absolutely, and all of this, every step, every deviation, it's meticulously documented in what are called batch records.
Batch records.
Yeah, they provide a complete history of how each batch of medication was produced.
Like a detective's case file.
Exactly, all the evidence right there.
So if there's ever a question about a particular batch, investigators can trace it all the way back.
Precisely. Batch records are all about traceability and accountability. They contain everything: the list of components, the equipment used, the results of all the tests, and, of course, any deviations that occurred.
Wow, that's an incredible level of detail.
It's all part of ensuring that every batch of medication can be traced back to its source.
Like a family tree for your meds.
Exactly. And this helps manufacturers spot potential issues, improve their processes, and ultimately provide safer, more effective medications to patients.
This is way more intricate than I ever imagined.
Oh, there's so much more to uncover.
Yeah, I'm starting to see why they call Subpart F the Bible of pharmaceutical production.
And we're just getting started.
You know, it's pretty amazing to think about the impact of all this. These regulations, these procedures, what might seem like boring details on paper, actually have a huge ripple effect on public health.
It's true. We've been focusing on how Subpart F ensures the quality and safety of each batch of medication, but it goes beyond that. It has implications for the entire industry.
Oh, how so?
Well, think about it. These strict standards, they actually drive innovation. When companies are challenged to meet this high bar set by Subpart F, they're forced to come up with new technologies, new approaches.
So the regulations aren't stifling innovation, they're actually fueling it.
In many ways, yeah, the need to comply with Subpart F incentivizes companies to invest in research and development. It leads to advancements in manufacturing processes, analytical techniques, even new drug delivery systems.
That's fascinating. It's like a rising tide lifts all boats. The regulations are pushing everyone to up their game.
Exactly, and who benefits in the end? Patients, they get access to safer, more effective, more innovative medications.
One thing that really stood out to me in the source material was the FDA's emphasis on transparency and international collaboration.
Yeah.
It seems like they recognize that in this globalized world, ensuring the quality of medications requires a team effort.
Absolutely. They're sharing information, harmonizing standards, working with regulatory counterparts all over the globe to create a more reliable, robust global pharmaceutical supply chain.
It makes you wonder, are there other industries where this level of process control and documentation could be beneficial?
You're right. The principles we've been talking about, they apply in many fields, any industry where consistency, safety, and reliability are paramount. They could all benefit from adopting a similar approach.
Imagine if we applied this Subpart F mindset to things like food production, transportation, even construction.
The potential for reducing errors, improving quality, building trust, it's huge. It's about shifting from a reactive approach, fixing problems after they happen, to a proactive approach, preventing those problems in the first place.
And that takes a commitment to planning, documentation, and continuous improvement, right? It's not just a one-time thing.
It's a mindset, a way of thinking, a way of working, and it can make a real difference.
You know, thinking about all this makes those detailed hand-washing procedures and equipment logs seem a lot less like bureaucratic red tape.
They're essential tools for ensuring quality and safety. What seems mundane can actually be the foundation of something truly important.
This deep dive has definitely given me a new appreciation for the hidden world behind the medications we rely on. And I'm seeing how these principles could apply to so many other things.
It's all connected, isn't it?
It is. It's fascinating.
We've talked a lot about procedures and documentation, but what about the people involved? You need skilled individuals who understand those procedures, who are committed to quality.
So it's not just about having a fancy facility and state-of-the-art equipment.
No, Subpart F outlines requirements for personnel training, qualifications, even hygiene practices. It recognizes that human actions play a significant role in ensuring product quality.
Makes sense. Even with the best equipment and procedures, human error can still happen.
That's why ongoing training, clear communication, and a culture of quality are so important. It's about empowering employees to identify potential problems, report those deviations, and contribute to that continuous improvement process.
So it's really a team effort. Everyone needs to be on board with quality for the system to work.
Absolutely. It's like a chain. Each link needs to be strong to ensure the integrity of the whole, and Subpart F provides that framework for strengthening those links, from facility design and equipment validation to personnel training and documentation.
It's amazing how much goes into making sure the medications we take are safe and effective.
And it's constantly evolving. New technologies, new approaches are emerging all the time. For example, we're seeing more and more automation and digitalization in pharmaceutical manufacturing.
How is that changing things?
Well, automation can help reduce human error, improve efficiency, enhance data collection and analysis. Think about those batch records. Digital systems can track and manage those records way more effectively than paper-based systems.
It's like upgrading from a filing cabinet to a supercomputer.
Exactly. It's not about replacing human workers, but augmenting their capabilities. Automation frees up personnel to focus on more complex tasks, things that require human expertise and judgment, like troubleshooting deviations or implementing continuous improvement initiatives.
And digitalization beyond batch records. What kind of impact is that having?
Well, it's enabling greater connectivity and data sharing across the whole supply chain. Think about tracking materials from their source, monitoring environmental conditions in real time, even using predictive analytics to anticipate potential quality issues.
It sounds like the future of pharmaceutical production is all about leveraging technology to enhance quality and safety.
It's a key trend for sure, but remember, technology is just a tool.
What do you mean?
It's the human element, the expertise, the commitment to quality, the ability to adapt and innovate. That's what will ultimately determine the success of these advancements.
That's a powerful message, a reminder that even in a highly regulated, technology-driven field like pharmaceutical production, people are still at the heart of it all.
And as the industry keeps evolving, it's going to be crucial to invest in training, education, and fostering that culture of quality among the next generation of pharmaceutical professionals.
You've given us a lot to think about today, from the global scale of pharmaceutical production to the nitty-gritty of Subpart F. We've really gone deep into the complexities of ensuring the quality and safety of medications.
It's been quite a journey.
Yeah, it has.
And I hope our listeners have gained a new appreciation for this invisible web of regulations, procedures, and dedicated individuals working behind the scenes.
I know I certainly have, and I'm thinking about all the ways this Subpart F mindset can be applied to other areas of life and work, like you mentioned earlier.
It's a powerful framework for thinking about how we can prevent problems, ensure consistency, and strive for continuous improvement.
This deep dive has really expanded my perspective on how quality is collection achieved and maintained. It's not about luck, it's about a deliberate, systematic approach.
And it's something we should all care about, whether we're scientists, healthcare professionals, or just everyday people who rely on these products, these intricate systems.
Well said. We've covered a lot of ground today, but before we wrap up, I'm curious about one more thing. We've talked about the what and the how of Subpart F,
Yeah.
but I'm kind of curious about the why, like on a deeper level.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, of course, we all want safe and effective medications,
That's right.
but is there something bigger here, something beyond just, checking the boxes of compliance?
That's a great question, and it gets to the heart of why this whole system exists. I think the bigger why is about trust.
Trust.
Think about it. When you take a medication, you're putting a lot of trust in the people who made it.
Yeah.
You're trusting that they followed the procedures, that they tested it properly, that they, ultimately have your best interests in mind.
That's true. I don't usually think about it that way, but it makes sense.
Subpart F, with all its details and regulations, it's essentially a framework for building and maintaining that trust. It's about ensuring that every step of the way is transparent, accountable, and focused on producing medications that patients can truly rely on.
So it's not just about avoiding bad outcomes. It's about proactively building confidence in the quality and safety of these products.
Exactly. Creating a system where trust is like woven into the very fabric of the process.
That's a powerful way to think about it. It makes all these regulations and procedures seem less like burdens and more like, well, safeguards.
They are safeguards, safeguards for patients, for healthcare providers, and for the reputation of the industry as a whole.
This deep dive has definitely given me a whole new perspective on the importance of those safeguards. It's easy to take them for granted, but they play such a vital role
They really do.
in ensuring, our health and well-being.
Absolutely. And it's a good reminder that quality isn't something that just, happens magically. It's something that's carefully cultivated
Right.
through attention to detail, a commitment to continuous improvement, and a deep sense of responsibility.
Well said. We've covered a lot of ground today. From the global scale of pharmaceutical production to the ins and outs of Subpart F, we've even touched on, the philosophy behind it all.
It's been quite the exploration.
It has, and I hope it's left you, dear listener, with a newfound appreciation for this world that often operates behind the scenes, for its complexity, its importance, and honestly, its elegance.
I hope so.
I know I've learned a lot, and I'm definitely looking at those medication bottles on my shelf a little differently now.
With a newfound respect, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely.
So next time you take a medication, take a moment to think about the journey it took to get to you, the intricate web of processes and people that ensured its quality and safety. It's a testament to human ingenuity, to our collaboration, and to our constant pursuit of better health outcomes.
That's a great takeaway. And to all our listeners out there, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep exploring the world around you. You never know what you might discover.
Until next time, stay curious.